Lions are big cats, but do they really look like domestic cats? People do note risk by getting them as a pet. Few families in the world have gained fame. In the 1970s, the Berberob family from Baku became famous all over the world. It's no wonder, since it's not every day you meet people who own lions as pets and keep them in regular apartments. At first, people might not have known what really happened to the Berberob family. But as time went on, they figured out that they really loved their pets and animals. Many different pets lived at the home of architect Lev Berberob at various times: cats, dogs, parrots, hedgehogs, raccoons, and snakes. Nonetheless, the family didn't plan on getting a lion. It happened by accident. One day, Nina Berberob and her children were walking around the zoo when they noticed a weak and sick cub lying motionless in the enclosure near the lions. "Mom, there's a dog," the children shouted when they saw the unfortunate cub. Unexpectedly for herself, Nina Berberob decided to take the cub home and try to nurse it back to life. It was an easy decision because the employees at the zoo were sure that the lion cub wouldn't make it, so they shared a single thought: they would try to help make him healthy and then release him back into its natural environment. However, it turned out to be a bit more complicated than that. They named the cub King and fed him formula. They also massaged his front legs, which had little effect. By the way, the waddling gait remained with the animal for the rest of his life, which can be seen in the movie called Unbelievable Adventures of Italians in Russia, where King would star later. The lion grew up surprisingly affectionate, conflict-free, and grateful. He behaved like the most tame and well-mannered domestic cat. The Berberob tried to return the animal to the zoo as a teenager, but he cried so pitifully and wanted to go home so badly that they simply had to take him back. And the animal didn't give the family any trouble. The only problem was the neighbor complained about the unbearable smell coming from the apartment. When journalists heard about King, the Berberob family became famous. A set of artistic photographs were released which portrayed King's life in the family. The lion also starred in several movies. Ironically, it was his most famous role that became fatal for King. While the film about the Italians and Russia was filmed, the lion was placed in a nearby school. There was a large gym where the animal could run around and stretch between shooting. One day, a couple of students passed by and noticed the lion through the gym window. A boy named Markov began to tease the animal, wanting to show off. King decided that the young man was asking to play.
Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story.
The lion jumped out of the window, having squeezed out of the glass, and pressed Markov to the ground with his paws. King didn't cause him any harm because it was how he always played with his owner. The girl, however, began to scream for help hysterically, and unfortunately, her cries were heard by a policeman. When Lev Berberob returned to the filming location, King was no longer alive. It was a real tragedy. The dog Choppa, who also lived with the Berberob and was the lion's best friend, survived him by only a few days. The dog kept sleeping with King's things, and one day Choppa simply didn't wake. The children of the family were also inconsolable. They loved their lions so much. A group of artists, including Vladimir Vysotsky and Marina Vladi, came up with the idea of finding a new lion cub for the family. The Berberob weren't exactly happy about this idea. They realized that they were unlikely to find such a special, affectionate, and docile lion like King. And they were right. King Aya turned out to be much more obstinate and way more dangerous. He only recognized Live as the owner and could snap at the rest of the family. Occasionally, after the father of the family passed away, it became even more challenging to handle King II. One day, as Nina came home, she could smell something burning. As it turned out, the lion was sitting on the balcony, and their drunk neighbor amused himself by throwing pieces of melted plastic comb at the animal. King too got very agitated. The woman asked the lion to come inside, and he climbed into his favorite place on top of the wardrobe. But when Nina brought him food, the lion accidentally fell down on his back and jumped back up. He hit Nina with his heavy paw. She lost consciousness, and then the lion rushed at her son, who was trying to calm the animal. The armed policemen barely managed to defeat King II, only after the two victims were taken to the hospital. Unfortunately, it was too late for the teenager. Nina only learned that her son had passed away a few days later when she came to her senses. The woman was deeply depressed for the next several years. She only found the strength to go on living for the sake of her daughter. Nina remarried, but she could never emotionally recover from her previous marriage. This is sad, but it's important for us to realize that humans are the ones who put animals in situations which can harm them. The lion should never have been living in an apartment with people and their pets.